Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew, and this time around we're heading back to some 90s goth good times, because today we're taking a look at a resin piece from Diamond Select of the iconic Crow. Eric Draven, as portrayed by Brandon Lee in that famous cult classic that's taken on a life of its own, has had some good merchandise so far from Diamond, including, I believe, a half-scale bust, as well as an action figure, which you looked at not too long ago. And it's all been quite nice. There's been some really great stuff here, but I've never actually looked at any of the more higher-end statues from the Crow. And today that's going to change because we have this resin bust from Diamond that I cannot wait to take a look at. So first things first, let's talk about this packaging here. And the Diamond Select resin pieces, they are really no frills. I say that a lot, but with a piece like the Crow, you really see what I'm talking about here, because we're just kind of staring into the abyss right now. This is just black on black on black. Their box design itself is just black. The Crow is a fairly dark black character. The only real color that we have here is in the flesh, the face, and the logo. Otherwise, it's just all black across the entire page. And likewise, too, for the sides, either side. You know, you have an image of the statue, but otherwise it's just black. The top of the box, black. And the back of the box, black. It's just so dark. It kind of does make things a little hard to see. I mean, it's great high contrast for the actual face of the character, but even this text here, it's so dark and this text is so small, it does kind of just start to blend in and get all muddled together. And it doesn't help that the text is also a pretty thin font also, so that makes it just seep into the packaging even more than it already does. Speaking of the back of that box, you do get a very concise bio about who the Crow is, who Eric Draven is. It also lets you know that this is a 6-scale mini bust, and that it's limited to only 3,000 pieces. But most importantly, it credits the artist behind it, and this piece was designed by Caesar and sculpted by Rocco Tardamella. Caesar and Rocco are two really excellent artists who work on a lot of stuff from Diamond, and that really gives me a lot of hope about this piece here, because just by looking at it initially here, I feel like this is going to be a really great standout piece, and fingers crossed it is like that once I get it out of all the cardboard and all the styrofoam. So without further ado right now, let's go ahead and unbox our Crow and take a closer look at him from all angles. Alright, and here is our Crow mini bust now out of the box. And I gotta tell you guys, initial thoughts, this is impressive. This is a gorgeous looking piece. Now, before I do a quick rotation, I do want to show you guys the exact height of this piece here. And with the Crow's wings, we're counting this at about 8 inches tall. So this is about an 8-inch tall piece. Now, let's go ahead and do our first rotation to show you every single angle on this Crow statue and give you a little bit more of my initial thoughts. And I think I already said it, but yeah, it's pretty gorgeous. This is a real knockout piece here. You know, I don't like to throw that word around quite often, but I definitely believe it here. I mean, from the likeness to the wardrobe, to the base especially, to the Crow itself, the bird looks excellent. This really is stellar, and the more it rotates, the more I'm just like, wow. Yeah, a little speechless actually for how nice this thing looks, and all things considered for the price point too. I mean, you gotta be kidding me. This thing looks excellent. So yeah, once it finishes the rotation, we'll spend some time on the face. But man, I'm already enjoying this piece already. This is a strong looking resin statue here. So let's go ahead now and spend some time talking about the likeness. And let's ask the question, does this look like Brandon Lee? Now, one thing's for sure, it's a great looking head sculpt. And I would have to say that, yeah, it looks like Brandon Lee. This is a great looking Crow piece. Man. So one of the nice things here about this too, aside from the sculpting, because the sculpting is just really good and spot on, the paint job is also really good too with this face. So hopefully it shows up on camera here, but this is not just like a solid blob of white on this character. There actually is a flesh tone painted there, and then white lightly painted on top. So you can actually kind of see through it. It's a little bit translucent to show you the actual flesh underneath it. And that's how they painted this piece too, I'm sure. They painted a fleshy undertone, and then they covered it with the white. So that makes it look even more lifelike. And that's kind of the big thing about the statue, is it looks real. It really does look so real from every possible angle. Really clean paint job also. You know, one of the things that really stands out to me on this, the more I look at it, is the eyes. The eyes are really stunning. Like, there's great painted detail in there, with the pupils looking really nice and shiny, and also just the makeup around his eyes too. I mean, that just looks really good. Likewise too with the lips. He's got some great lips going on there. Oh man, it's really nice. The teeth are also very good, I have to say. I know it's a weird thing to talk about, but yeah, the teeth look good. So man, top to bottom, I gotta say the head sculpt is just like a really, really great looking piece there. Even love the little vein he's got kind of running on his forehead there. Like this is such good attention to detail. And likewise too with the hair. I think they did really good with the hair. Mind you, it does have some bits of styrofoam still stuck in it from when I took it out of the packaging. But the hair, it's like nice and stringy. It looks just like Eric Draven's hair in the film. A lot of effort went into making this hair really like look special. And I really commend the sculpting team, the design team for pulling that off. And you can see it better from this side too. But that's some good looking hair. Now, we also should talk about the burb. He got a burb on his shoulder. Yeah, let's talk about the crow itself here, because this is another real standout part of it too. I was actually very curious about how the bird was going to look, and happy to report it looks excellent. Looks pretty lifelike, all things considered, for the scale, what we're going for here, and the price point as well. And just like Eric has some different colors on his face and some different tone to help kind of make it pop out. The beak is a shinier color. The eye has some really nice detail in it too. There's some nice plumage all over this guy. That's a fancy bird word, you know, plumage. Yeah, I'm really liking how the feathers look across the whole piece here. There we go. Making sure you can see it all in focus. The wings are also really stunning. Just really nice, expansive wings, good texture, nice feather detail in there. That's one of my favorite parts about the statue is like the tactile sensations you get from it. And the bird feathers are really nice here. Like this is some great sensation. Excellent detail. Like you can really feel in it all the individual feathers. And I think it's probably gonna be the same for the opposite side of it as well. That's a little bit harder to show. Yeah, take my word for it. It's got some good detail with this bird here, and especially those feathers. I was going to say weathers, especially with those feathers. Now, we'll show you guys all that. This piece went a little bit out of focus, but that's just kind of a byproduct of what we're dealing with here, because this piece is very dark. There's a lot of black in the statue, as you're going to see as we kind of scroll down real quick. There's a lot of black here, and black is just the killer of light, so it does make it a little bit hard to see some things, some of the finer details. That's disappointing, because there are a lot of good details here. But yeah, let's actually talk about the use of black here, because it's being used really well here. It's not just one shade of black. That's my favorite thing to say about a lot of these review videos, but it's true. It's not just one bland shade of black. There's a lot of ways that you're using the black. Now, I will say this time around, it's not quite as many as we've seen with, like, let's say a Darth Vader statue we looked at not too long ago, but the way that they're using texture is actually the difference maker this time around, because for the most part, the black is actually all kind of like one type of black, but the hair has a certain kind of texture, and the jacket has a different texture and feel to it, and so does the shirt. The shirt's very smooth. The leather jacket here is all crinkled up, and it's got a little more feeling to it, whereas the hair has all these sort of like waves running through it. And likewise too with the bird, you know, the feathers also have a different kind of texture, and that texture is what's going to be helping to reflect the light and make it look a little bit different, make it stand out a little bit more, and also, that's kind of the biggest thing, is when you're dealing with this type of black, you want it to reflect light and move light around it in a different way, so that does help separate it, so that your eyes do understand that you're looking at some different things here. And I think they were very successful at pulling that off with this statue. So we definitely got a different feeling of looks, the way it's reflecting light. It's a good looking piece here. Let me show you guys the back as well, which isn't quite as exciting, but I still think that's some really cool details in there. And, you know, if you zoom in a little bit more too, you see what I'm talking about with the leather jacket here. Like, look at all this cracked leather that he's got here. Like, this is the weathered jacket, so it's got some breaking texture on it, which you can really feel. Again, here's the bird's feathers, which range in different sizes, which looks really nice. One of the little weird details that I appreciate is that he actually has his jacket tied and not from behind. It's almost like a martial arts belt, the way it's tied, like in a square knot. So that's pretty cool. And likewise, too, talk about texture. I guess let's spend some time talking about this base now. I think this base is really, really nicely done. This is a real favorite base for me. I'm especially enjoying the way, you know, talk about how light's reflecting off of this piece. This base is so great. Like, it feels like bird's feathers also. Like, I don't know if it's meant to be that way, but the texture that it has on this, really on both sides, but especially on like the left and right side of it, it really feels like bird feathers. It's like this kind of honeycomb pattern, but it feels really good. It really kind of reinforces the idea of the crow in this piece subconsciously, subliminally in a way, if you want to say that too. Also, like from the front, again, you know, since we are talking about birds, there it is. I mean, there is the crow. So I'm definitely onto something here. I'm not just being pretentious for the sake of being pretentious. Some more nice details here are the rips in his shirt. I don't remember, I think those are meant to be bullet holes as well. I'm not sure if they are or are not, but it's kind of cool that it's there. And of course, his necklace with the ring on it. So a lot of really cool elements that make up this piece. And a lot of elements that, you know, hardcore Crow fans are looking for. You're going to find it here. So overall, this is a superbly strong piece here. This is like one of the, I was going to say best of the year. I don't quite remember when this crow bust came out. I don't know if it actually was this year or last year. It's actually, okay, according to the box, I'm checking it right now off camera, 2022. So this came out last year. I don't know how I missed it, but there was a lot of stuff that happened last year. There was a lot of toys that were coming out, you guys, so sorry. But, this is a strong piece. And 2022 was the year that Diamond was doing a lot more crow pieces, as well as, I think they did some PVC stuff. I think they did the action figures, which, we did look at on this channel here. But I hadn't looked at this bust, because this was a little more of a higher-end item, and I'm glad that I have it, because, whew, man, the detail on this, even if you're not a fan of the crow, you have to appreciate the meticulous amount of research and effort that went into this. Because, man, from every part of it, whether it's the bird, whether it's the likeness, whether it's the jacket, the different textures, this knockout base, it's just a grand piece. And, man, just beautiful looking overall. I think for anybody who's collecting 90s era memorabilia, or if you're into that more gothy vampire horror look, this piece really covers a lot of different things. It covers a broad ranges of fandoms, not just for the Brandon Lee fans, but for just, anybody. Good statue collector, pop culture collector. This piece is great. It has so much different elements to it that add up to an excellent looking bust. So if you'd like to pick up this bust and add it to your collection, check out the description for this video below. I'm going to have a few different places where you can pick it up for yourself. If you click any of those links and pick up this statue, it helps support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. So that's our look at the Crow resin mini bust from Diamond Select, designed by Caesar and sculpted by Rocco Tartamella. And what a great piece this is. Can't really say enough good things about it. I could definitely say more if you wanted me to, but I'm going to hold off on that for now. I think you need to add it to your collection if you're into this movie, if you're into the genre. Just what a really wonderful piece overall, something that everybody should be really proud about making. So until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time with more statue reviews, action figure reviews, and everything we do here on the channel.